Hi, how are you? Gail here. This is Life Coaching with Gail. This is the Psychic, Intuitive, Spiritual. My voice is just interesting. It's going a little bit croaky. I wasn't prepared for the actual YouTube video as well as radio today, so please excuse if I am my normal self where I, kind of break up every now and again. So, we are January 2024 still. We are midway through January. How's life treating you? It has been a little bit of last year is influencing this month. When we come into Year of the Dragon, I'm hoping for a shift. I'm hoping for very positive new starts, beginnings, all that sort of thing. That would be brilliant. So we're going to talk a little bit today about spirit guides. So what are spirit guides? You could think of them in a way which is quite ordinary and quite normal. You have had people who have passed over. Now these people you may know or not know within your family who have passed over, and these are the ones that will always be at hand if they have something in particular that they can help you with in your everyday life. So spirit guides come in many forms. Family ones are our most comfortable. If you had a special connection with a family member and they pass away, that family member will do what they can to give you an indication that they are around, that they are still with you, that they haven't gone anywhere, that they are at peace or happy or well. If they have been sick before they have passed, when they pass, they can go through a transitional period of getting used to being out of their body, but still feeling that they have that body. Because when somebody passes over, they still have that memory, if you call it memory, of their body, their hands, their fingers. They still have a association, connection with their physical body. So if you were to see someone that had passed over, and that's a bit scary for some people, but if you were to actually see them, then you would see them maybe a little bit younger than they were, but you would see them well. You would see them in a much better space and place generally and mostly, especially if they were in kind of like a loving relationship and a loving space within themselves. So as a guide, if a family member has learned a certain skill in their life, and this family member may have been born in the 1800s, 1700s, 1500s, all the way back. If that family member has a special skill that would be an advantage to you in what you're doing right now, say you're studying or you're learning a particular craft or skill, and you have a family member that even has those natural abilities or learned abilities, or if it was their actual work, then they will nominate to come close to you and be available to you. And when I say available, it's simply because you don't have to ask them for help. We naturally, when we are stuck, when we are lost in our lives, when we are thinking that perhaps something that we're doing is very difficult, should we have started it? Can we finish it? Is it within our capabilities? Often we will get help and assistance from, let's say, family member at this point that knows about it. And what can happen is that you may meet someone, and that someone will just help you through this little hurdle. So this someone will be in body. It could be just someone doing the same sort of course as you, and they might offer you a bit of help. If you turn that help down entirely over to you, but that help has been given to you, brought your way by someone that loves you and cares about you and wants to help you, that is in spirit, that is often family. So always, if you are, we get desperate sometimes, so maybe you're not desperate, but if you're even wanting more, searching for answers, wanting to explore more about a subject or your own life, then all you really have to do is in your mind think it and ask it. We do this actually every day around different things all the time. You do not even understand that you are throwing out requests, that you're asking for help just in being curious, just in being kind of at a point where you have no more answers, or being at breaking point. Those, you are throwing out all kinds of messages in your mind, in your emotional body, in your physical kind of surroundings. It's a little bit like you see someone that's crying, so you go and you see if they're okay, or you ask someone else if they're okay and if you can help them. That is kind of like how we're naturally wired. We don't have to do those things, but spirit and those in spirit do it automatically. You ask, they will help you, and you will get that in a physical representation in your life. Like I said, it'll be a person perhaps, or it'll be something that you suddenly come across in a magazine, a book, in a movie, in a piece of music, and it will be your answer. And if you are open to receiving information, answers and help from any source in any way that is beneficial, then you will get that help. You will get that guidance. Your spirit helpers, whether they be family or other spirit guides and helpers, they will give you always the help, always the guidance. You don't have to take it. They don't insist on you taking it. You don't have to listen. You don't even have to be good at spotting signs. There are signs around us all the time, and we've kind of covered this in other programs before. And these signs can be very, very simple. The latest ones in my life have been a white feather that is curled around. It looks like, I'm not even sure what bird it comes off, but it's a white feather. It's small and it's got this curve in it, and that came at a time when my mother was in hospital after my brother died last year, and she was unwell, really unwell, and she was struggling with losing her son. And I saw this white feather. It was being blown down the path, and I noticed these things. So I just thought, oh, that's interesting. I wonder if I should go out there and chase it. But the wind was so strong, I knew it would not. I wouldn't catch it. Do you know that when I walked back to the car, which was in the opposite direction, here was a feather right by the doorway of the car. So I knew absolutely that it was a message. And to me, the message was, white is always to do with peace, love and spirit, which means the angels are at work, because white is an angelic colour. Feathers are the wings of the angels. And so I knew that the angels were at work, that all will be well. My mother was moved from the acute assessment to a ward, and I wasn't there, but my sister texted me because I'd said about the white feather, and my sister texted me and she said, you wouldn't believe it, when Mum went into the ward, there was a white feather curled in that shape, exactly the same, at the bottom of her bed. So where would that come from? Angels can work in ways that cannot be explained, that there is no ABC of how things happened or what steps were taken beforehand. It is our family that are in spirit, that are often our angelic helpers, as well as our practical helpers. So around us as well, we don't just have those kind of family members who are spirit helpers. We do actually have other helpers. I choose specialists that can specialise in this human experience because it has been extraordinarily hard on me, and I have needed the aid and assistance of something, anything, for most of my life. And initially, when I was a child, I called on God always for answers, for guidance, for direction, and I didn't always feel that I was getting that guidance and direction, but it was always there. And when you look back, you can see it was always there. It's much easier when you look back, isn't it? And you can see things much more clearly. So you're being heard every time you talk and ask for something. You are being heard. Your voice, your need, your request, it is all being heard every single time, and it will be answered. If you are able to relax, if you are able to be in a space, at some point we all get to this space where you have given up, where you have totally just let go of anything even possibly being able to happen. If you have given up on, a faith in a creator energy or universal energy that is helpful to you, you are in the perfect spot. If you meditate, you put yourself in a perfect spot. If you do any kind of dream work, you put yourself in a perfect spot. Even if you had some kind of daily routine or ritual that was where you were asking for help or reinforcing your belief in your deserving of this, because this is a big barrier. If you do not feel you deserve, then how can you be open to receiving? If this person deserves, then you deserve. We are all equal. We were created equal. We were created in the image and likeness of the Creator, whatever name, label we put on that. We are perfect. Our imperfections are our kind of like disagreements with ourselves, our arguments about things, our barriers against other things, and that is up to us to actually address. So if you have any kind of belief that has been formed about yourself and your ability to deserve, or just who you are as a person, of what you're capable of, look back on situations in your life that have proved that to you. When we are 7, we take on certain beliefs about ourselves, the world, and everything in the world, money, relationships, and everything else. And that's a core building block. What you believed about yourself when you were 7, you won't believe all those things now necessarily. If you're as old as I am, your life will have challenged those beliefs. And if you have an upset, a shock, it's because you had a belief in something that maybe needs to be modified or changed. And we can't necessarily change beliefs easily on our own. It takes quite an intensive thing, sort of like exercise, to be able to do that. But your beliefs help you shape and create your world. So if you have any unhealthy beliefs, especially around who you are as a person, what you deserve as a person, then please re-look at those. Look at your experiences. Look at what you've found out about yourself as you go through life, what you're capable of, what other people have gotten when they have perhaps done less than you. That means you deserve too. It is self-belief which can be very limiting. And when it comes to getting help and assistance from your loved ones in spirit and from others in spirit, then it's worth looking more deeply at yourself, removing those barriers, because the help is available to you 24/7, every day, every minute of every day. And if you ask for it, allow yourself to feel what that would feel like if that happened. Check with yourself, do I feel I deserve this? And if it's like absolutely, then you are open. If you ask yourself, do I deserve this? And then there's this little inside yourself. It's like, I know I do. So that's your mind. But the feeling that actually allows it to happen, that little not sure, it's like, why? Challenge yourself. So why do I feel I don't deserve? And it could be some sort of old memory. It could be something somebody said to you when you were young. I stood up in front of class, I got laughed at. I got brave and stood up in front of class to do this because I was a very shy, introverted person, and I challenged myself to get up and say the news. What happened at the weekend? We had news because we didn't do anything generally except go to Sunday school, and I knew no people weren't really interested in that. So this time I had news. So I stood up in front of class and I actually said, on Saturday we went to the beach. And I couldn't say any more. That's all I had to say. Because it was great, we went to the beach, but it actually didn't turn out that well. So, and we ended up coming home early because I think my brother misbehaved or something. So, but that's all I had to say. That was the good part of my news. And I got booed and laughed at by a neighbour. He was a neighbour, but everybody joined in, and so I felt terrible. I have in my life challenged myself in those little ways. If you prepare yourself that it may not go well, that's actually a bit better, because I hadn't prepared myself for those things. So it took me a long time to come to terms with those. I can 100% guarantee to you right here today, you deserve every wonderful, amazing, spectacularly awesome thing that you want, dream, wish for yourself in your life. Check with yourself that you are going to allow that to happen for yourself. And then you will know in the way that if somebody invites you to go somewhere and you've had a particularly bad day and you're feeling pretty down, pretty low, maybe sorry for yourself, and you just don't have, or tired, and you just don't have the energy, then you're testing yourself that you are not worthy of this experience that you have been invited to. So check with that, because that is what you're actually saying. It can be all the excuses we have can be absolutely legitimate. The invitation is always timely. It's always perfect. So it's always able to be engaged in. Hey, I'm no saint. I'm guilty of these things. I've not gone places because of this and this and this. And so I have missed out a lot on things in my life, but I'm aware of that. I'm aware that I've done that. And so therefore I do a little bit of I know I deserve this, whatever this is. Can you make it easier next time so that I'm not so tired, so I'm not struggling so much, so that I do have energy to actually be able to engage and get involved. So I developed years ago, and I've said this before, that for me, life needed to be easy. And I was like, life needs to be easy. So how is that? And on a plane, without thinking about it, it just came easy, effortless, efficient, simple, and effective, which spelled EEESE, which is easy. So that's my kind of like mission statement for life for everybody. Everybody I see that comes to see me, this is what the specialist spirit helpers that I have in spirit are there for. They assist you to resolve situations in your life, to find answers, to get guidance in a much more kind of deliberate way, so that life is not such a struggle. It doesn't have to be a struggle, believe me. I've been through my share of hard stuff, going through some pretty major hard stuff at the moment. So I'm reinforcing all the things I know about where one door closes, another opens, where I ask for help, where, when, how it comes, and then I let it go, because I know everything works out in the end. Everything always works out in the end. We have a few bumpy knocks to go through maybe, but they can be harsher and harder if we struggle against them, if we argue against them, if we're angry against them, and if we're frustrated against them. I have this little thing for myself where in my life it's like, well, perhaps this is meant to be. And if it is meant to be, then that means there's something better for you in your life waiting for you, that if you stayed on this track in life, you would have missed, or you would have taken a whole lot longer for you to get there. So I kind of see the struggles and the shake-ups in life and the chapters that come to an end as being a shortcut. So this is a shortcut for a giant leap forward in your life. And that's the way I actually prefer to look at it, because it always works out that way. We can put ourselves through so much worry, so much stress, so much anxiety, and all that does is damage your physical health. And we need our physical health because we need to be able to be here as long as we can to experience the good stuff. And there's always good stuff. If you can see in all of the horrible stuff in your life, if you can see the little speck of the good, and you can stay focused or put your focus back on that every time that you're in a muddy place, in a overwhelmed space, if you can put your focus on a little thing, it could be an animal, it could be that you have a home, it could be that you have a friend, it could be that you have parents that help you, it can be any little thing. If you can keep your focus on that little spark, the spark grows. The spark grows and grows and grows, and the darkness retreats and retreats and retreats. So the good in your life grows and grows and grows, and the struggles in your life retreat. And I've practiced this many times in my life. And sometimes you've got to fall apart. Sometimes you've got to have a little bit of a meltdown, because you're clearing out all of the garbage. You're clearing out all of the pain, all of the worry, all of the angst. And it needs to come out of you. So allow yourself to cry fully, get angry fully, appropriately, somewhere safe, somewhere out of earshot. Pillows, mattresses, they're all good stuff to express more stronger emotions. I'm a fire sign, Western, and I'm a fire sign, Eastern astrology, so I got a kind of double fire whammy to me, which I always struggled against in my life. But it is part of me, and it is only necessary when I'm frightened. And so when I'm frightened, I try and calm myself. I try and reassure myself, because I'm the only one that's here to do it in the present. And I get that as guidance from my family helpers, my spirit helpers, and there are animal helpers as well. So you have spirit helpers, family helpers, animal helpers, you have all kinds of different cultural helpers. You are blessed beyond measure. You are the person who has an entourage of spiritual helpers. Please talk to them, please ask, give it a try. even ask for a car park, a coffee, green light. Just ask. They're listening. The simple things you may allow for yourself, the big things you may not quite allow for yourself right now, so give it time. If you wish to come and see me for a one-on-one reading, I do tarot as well, clairvoyance, past lives as well, which can relate to present situations. If you would like to come and see me, my phone number is 027 4166 545, and this has been Gail, and it has been a pleasure. Take care, enjoy the rest of your January, and I will see you in February. This is Radio Hawke's Bay, your community radio. Bye.